everyone, and from today onwards we are starting the very first series of our channel, that is the interview series. In this particular series we will cater to the different questions that you face in an HR interview, and together we will try to find out the best answer that will make you achieve the job of your dreams. In today's video, we will be looking out for the answer of the most common question that is asked. Tell me about yourself. This question, though sounds very easy, can be very difficult to crack if you are not prepared beforehand. The agenda of today's video will be something like this. First, we will get to know why you need to prepare for this question beforehand. Second, we will understand the importance this question has. Third, we will look out for the answer that you should be giving. And fourth, we will also discuss some of the very common mistakes that people tend to make during answering this question. So without a further ado, let's start this session. Why do we need to prepare beforehand? Tell me about yourself, though the most common question is one of the trickiest questions that one will ever face in an interview. This is because the question is a very open-end question and the answer can include things from almost everywhere. The very first point to take care of is you don't have the entire time. You need to answer this question within 60 to 90 seconds. 1 to 1.5 minutes is more than enough for answering this question. If your answer exceeds this duration, you might get interrupted with the interviewer and you might not be able to complete your answer. Thus, you need to pick out the specific points that you want to tell your interviewer in these 60 to 90 seconds such that you get selected. So what will happen if we don't prepare beforehand? I will give you a very short glimpse of what happened with my friend, and maybe that can help you. So one of my friends went to an interview and she was not prepared for this question. Tell me about yourself. Although she was very well prepared, she was not well prepared for this question. Now, as soon as she entered the interview room, the first question she faced was, tell me about yourself, as obvious. And the first statement that came from her was, I'm awesome. And the interviewer further carried on that, okay, I know that you're awesome, but I need to know something more. Yes, that's how funny your answers can be if you are not prepared well beforehand. You need to prepare for this question and for all the HR questions beforehand, because in the interview room, in that interview pressure, these questions, though easy, the answers may not click. Okay? So now moving on to the next part of our agenda, that is, why is this question so important? The question, tell me about yourself, acts as an icebreaker question and it helps the interviewer strike out a conversation with the candidate. So this question is a universal question asked in every interview because the interviewer wants to start a conversation with the candidate. You should understand that an interview is not a Q&A session. It's not a question and answer round. It should always be a conversation, and hence this question is asked. Now, you have to decide beforehand what you want to say in this conversation, because this is the one question that will define the route of your entire interview. If you're not prepared from beforehand, it might be that when you answer this question, you go on to say something that the interviewer is not much concerned about, and hence he might lose interest in you and your answers, and the conversation might not take the right track. So, if you want the interviewer to leave all his distractions and listen to you, be eager to talk more, to converse more with you. So let's proceed with step 3, that is, what should your answer contain? Now this is the most important part. As I have said before, you only have 60 to 90 seconds. Though your answer cannot be smaller than 60 seconds, it should not be larger than 90 seconds either. Hence, how should you frame your answer? What are the key points that you should include in it, and what are some of the points that you can skip for the interview are the most important parts. So now I will cover this question one by one, first for the experienced candidates and next for freshers. Take a scenario where you are an experienced candidate having maybe 4 or 5 years of experience and you have changed 2 organizations, and this is your third organization that you are switching and you are appearing for a job. How should you frame your answer? What should you add on? Always start with I am or my name is or my names and then your name. I have 4 years of experience in the software development domain. My previous organization was so and so. Here I learned a new language, that is Python, and created so and so software which led to the business automation of the client, in turn leading a business revenue of so and so dollars. In addition to this, I also have knowledge and experience in SQL queries and R language. In the small answer that I just described to you, you have mentioned your name, your work ex, the skills that you have acquired and where you have used, and you have also added a proof of your performance. Addition of numbers to your answers increases the credibility of your answers. So whenever you add statements like caused a revenue benefit of so and so dollars to the client or to the customer, or whenever you say that me acquiring this knowledge brought in so and so clients, so whenever you add a proof to your answers, it really acts as a plus point. So always try to add some working proof of whatever you have learned or whatever work experience you are talking about. Next, you can continue with your answer giving on what all accomplishments you have gained, maybe some promotions, some awards that you might have gained in that organization. You can talk about it. So that's how an experienced candidate should frame his answer. Now I will go on to discuss how a fresher should answer this question. Freshers should always need to understand that the people who have come to take you already know that you do not have any industry experience, neither are they expecting you to have them. The most that they will expect is some experience from your internships that you might have gathered, or maybe some college projects that you might have done. But real life working experience is something that you will not have, is known to them. So freshers need not panic about the fact that they don't have any experience. What will they say in this answer? The answer that we previously discussed was not for you. Please do not pick up that template. The answer that we are going to discuss now is an answer more suited to you. Freshers also, you will start your answer with I am or my name is or my names and your name. Next, you will write that I am pursuing this degree from so and so college. During the tenure of my college, I have learnt SQL queries, C and C++. In the third year of my project, I built a streetlight replica wherein I used the SQL queries that I was taught. Due to my added interest in this domain, I have also learned Java and .NET on my own from different platforms such as Coursera, Udemy, YouTube and so. For my final year project, the topic is to find the purity of a substance, and I have decided to build that using the knowledge of Java language that I have acquired. In my free time, I love to play football and I am also a member of the college football team. You see what you have added in your question of tell me about yourself. You have added your name. Since you do not have any past organization from where you have an experience, you have added your college, added the skills that you have learned in college, and you have added a proof, a project that you have built on those skills. So that increases the credibility that you know what you have been taught. Now, again, you have shown that you are trainable. You have shown that you have increased your skills by yourself. So that comes as a plus point that you are a trainable candidate and that you are eager to learn new technologies. And not just that, you have also said that you will be using those skills in your final year project. So again, you are giving a proof that you are just not acquiring theoretical knowledge, but you are doing some practical examples to apply those theoretical knowledge. So you frame your answer such that you portray yourself that you are very keen, very eager to learn new things, and that once you are there in their organization, will be an asset to them. If you have some time remaining, you can add your hobbies, your accomplishments, and so, but always remember this as the key point for both freshers and experienced candidates, that you need to sell yourself in front of the interviewer. The interviewer should know that you have something that the rest of the 50 or 100 people that he has met that day doesn't have, and hence you should always frame your answer in a way that you are there to sell yourself and your skill set such that the interviewer thinks that you will act as an asset to their organization. If you go there and talk about other things that are not relevant to the job, the interviewer might lose interest, because they are not there for personal talks. They are there to select you. So they want to know what skills you have, what you are willing to do, what you already know, and what you are willing to learn. So when you frame your answer such that you tell them all those things that they want to hear from you, you make the chances of yourself getting selected pretty high. I have framed these answers with respect to an engineering or software development background, because that's where I come from, but you can change it as per your experience or your knowledge. Moving ahead, coming to our last and my very favorite section, common mistakes that we often do in the interview. The first and the very common mistake that one does when he enters the interview room is introducing himself or herself as myself. No, that is wrong English. You have to say your name, but you need to say my name is, or I am, or my names. That is the only way you need to introduce. You cannot say myself and your name. That is wrong English. That automatically acts as a turn off for your interviewer. So please keep in mind, prepare your answers multiple times such that when you enter an interview room, out of nervousness, out of hurry, you don't blurt out saying myself. The second most common mistake that one does while saying this answer is using too many big words, too many adjectives. Of course, you need to use some adjectives like I'm a team player, but you also need to understand that the interviewer there is sitting to know more about your skills and not more about your English. So it really does not matter if you don't say big words and if you just limit your answers with simple small sentences. As long as you are able to tell your interviewer your answer and your interviewer is able to understand whatever you are saying, you are in good space. So always prepare your answers as simple as they can be. Do not include or do not push in too many huge words, too many adjectives. Those are not the things that your interviewer is looking for. The most common mistake that I see people doing is this one. Don't rush through your answers. Take your time, decide your pace, and say your answers in a way that the interviewer is able to get hold of each and every word you say. Okay, you should frame your answers such that you sell yourself. It is okay if you have not included here and there details like your hobbies or maybe your accomplishments. You can subtract a little bit from your answer, but whatever little you are to say, make that little about your skills and say that confidently, say that slowly. Please don't rush with your answers. Also, you have to understand that the interviewer should be able to listen and understand your answer. It's not just about you speaking. So frame out your answers and decide your pace. No need to rush about them. If you have to, please cancel 1 or 2 points, but whatever you say them with confidence and good pace. So if you have come on this far, with us. Please put a thumbs up if you are liking this session, and also subscribe to our channel because this is what we are aiming to bring in for you in our upcoming videos. Also, since you have come on this far, this pro interview tip is for you. People often have this misconception in them that their English needs to be pro level in order to crack an interview. This is not absolutely true. Yes, you need to have the bare minimum knowledge of English such that you are able to communicate with your interviewer, because that is the mode of communication in an interview. But the interviewer is definitely not looking for pro-level English unless it is for the HR role. Okay. Also, the interviewer himself or herself knows that in an interview, a candidate is normally a bit nervous. So here and there, a little bit of mistakes are avoided. So when you are preparing for your answer beforehand, you need to always know that the main constituent is your confidence and not your English. Also, when you are there in an interview, you need to know that if you have made a mistake here and there, you still need to be confident and continue with your answer rather than stopping in between and thinking about the mistake that you have just done. So that was all for today's session. You go get that interview and all the very best.